Okay, so here I'm going to Python init. Okay, in this I'll go to the exception handling concept. So here you can see all these concepts discussed already. Yeah, here we'll be having concept called exception handling. So here, how to handle the exceptions, how to handle a small kind of errors in a Python programming language. Here we'll be having concept called exception handling. To handle the errors, exceptions will be having concept called exception handling. Okay, so here after this, in this exception handling, what see here, we'll see the syntaxes of exception handling, like how to avoid the errors. So for that, here initially we'll be having try except blocks, guys. So here in this, like how we have if else block, here we'll be having try except block. So here coming to this try except block, here it is the syntax, guys. So initially, if that expression is correct, here if you don't have any error in this statement, it will give you the output corresponding to try block, guys. Whereas if there is any exception present, it will give the statement present in a except block. It's like an else block. Okay, it's about a try except. Okay, so it's about try except. For that, here he specified a small example. So in this example, he said like try a equals to 5, b equals to 0, and he's saying print of a by b. It means he is saying 5 by 0. He's performing 5 by 0 operation. So 5 by 0 means if you divide something by 0 means it is undefined, means we can't perform this action. It means it is an error. If such kind of errors are there, it will give you a statement which is present in an exception block. So here, whenever you execute the code, here you will get an output like 0 division error. It's about a try except block. So here, if you observe the output, you'll get an output like this. After this, here keywords used with the exception handling. So we'll use different keywords also with this exception handling. So we can use else block also. So here will be use else finally raise keyword also in this exception handling concept. So we can use these additional keywords also in an exception handling concept. Okay. Now here we'll be having basic errors like a arithmetic error, overflow error, floating point error, zero division error, import error, key error, name error, syntax error, type error, input output error, value error. So these are the basic errors which we are having in a basically we can handle these kind of errors by using exception handling. These are the common types of errors. Okay. So here if you want to read regarding this exceptions or errors, here it is a brief description regarding it. Okay. So remember guys, while doing some program, if you want to understand the errors, you should be familiar with these keywords. You should be familiar with these keywords. It's about exception handling. Now what I'll do is, so here I'm taking another example. In this example, what I'm doing is here I'm taking help of, here I'm taking try block and here I'm taking except block. So here if you observe this try block, here I'm taking a equals to integer, b equals to string. So if you perform addition between a and b, it will give you a type error. It means here it is a data type error. That's why it will get an output like type error. So here, what I'm saying is I'm saying that specific exception. If the specific exception is occurred, I want to print this one as a statement. Okay, here we are getting output like type error encountered. So in this case, we got an error. You'll get an output like type error encountered. Okay, it's about output. After this, here it is an explanation. We can go through it for a brief understanding. After that, here we'll be having, see here we'll be having, see in the any block of code, we can use multiple except keywords also. In a block of code, we can use multiple except blocks also. So here what I'm doing, okay, so here what I'm doing is, see here I'm saying try a equals to 10, b equals to 9, c equals to 0. See here, whenever you perform print a by c operation, a by c means here it is an 10 by 0, 0 division error. So initially it is an interpreted, it will catch this error. So here it will check this error, whether it is a type error or not. No, it is not a type error. So if it is not a type error, what happens? It will go and check for the next exception. What is the next exception here specified? Zero division error. So here it is a zero division error. So here we'll get an output like try to divide. Just wait, guys. Okay, good, perfect. Now here what I am doing is see here it is checking second error. So whenever it checks second error, here it is a zero division error. So if it is a zero division error, it will give you an output like try to divide the number by zero. Okay, here you will get this one as an output. Okay, if it is a specific kind of error you want to specify, at the time if you want to print some statement, you can print that statement. Okay, it's about this thing. After that, here it is the explanation of this. So coming to this else keyword, it is used after the except block. If that exception is false, here it will give you an output corresponding to else block. So the code flow is designed in such a way that in the code does not face any exception or runtime error, then it moves to the else block. See here, coming to this except block, here it is a complementary block for this else. See, coming to this else block, it is a complementary block for this else block. So, or in a simple words, in this case, you can remember like if there is no exception in this try block, it obviously execute else block. So if there is any exception, it won't give the output corresponding to this else block. That is about this else block, guys. So here I'll show you that stuff here. So here you can see I'm defining a. Say here he is defining a equals to 10, b equals to 0, c equals to 4. So here if you say a by c, that is a 10 by 4, it will give you an output like 2.5 something. Here we are not having any exception. If you are not having any exception means just wait. Okay, good. So here what I'm doing, initially here I'm checking whether it is a zero division error or not. So here it is not a, see here in this case, it is not a zero division error, and directly it will goes to the else block and it will give you an output. So here, just wait for 2 minutes, guys. Okay, we'll continue now. Yes. So here, if there is no exception. If there is no exception, means obviously it will execute a else block. So this else block always depends on this except block. If there is no exception, obviously it will give you a statement corresponding to else block, guys. That is about try except else block. Like this, here we'll be having finally block also. So here you can see one more code. In this, exception is there. If there is exception, it won't give a statement corresponding to this else block. Okay, that thing you can observe in this code. I forward you this link in your WhatsApp group. Don't worry. Simply you can search this thing in a Google. Okay, good. Now here, yeah, good. So here it is about try except else block. After that, here we'll be having finally keyword base. So the purpose of this finally keyword is, so whether there is exception present or not, irrespective of that exception, if you want to execute a specific block of code, if you want to execute specific block of code, always at the time we need to use finally block. At the time we need to use finally keyword, guys. So here, irrespective of these two conditions, this finally block is always executed. That's about finally. So here it is the code corresponding to finally block. In this, here is specified try block, and in the indent he specified few values. So a equals to 10, b equals to 0, c equals to 4, and print a by b. So a by b means here it is a zero division error. It will goes to the exception block and it will print the statement corresponding to, just wait. Okay, good. So in this, here there is an exception. So whenever there is exception occurs, it will print this statement. Try to divide the number by 0. And coming to this else statement, here it won't execute the else statement. Why means this else statement present out of this exception block. That's why it won't give this one as an output. Coming to the next, here we'll be having finally block. So coming to this finally block, here the thing is this statement will be always executed. So here at the end of the program, it will definitely execute the block of code which is present in a. Okay, good. So here now what I'm doing is, see here it is about exception, try, except, and else finally. So it's a very important thing, guys. In a real time, if you want to write any program, best prefer exception handling concept. Try to avoid everything with an exception handling concept only. If you try to write a program with an exception handling concept in a real time, there you might not get that much bugs. So if you have bug, it will give you an exact exception, guys. Okay, better to go with this exception handling concept. And here, raise keyword. Let's suppose if some kind of error occurs. Let's suppose in a program, you should not specify any negative numbers. If there is any negative number present at the time, you need to raise an error like number error. So let's suppose if you want to specify specific kind of error, if you want to generate any specific kind of error, at the time you can use a raise keyword, guys. So by using raise keyword, we can raise any kind of exception. Okay, that's about a raise keyword. We'll see that raise keyword. Okay, good. Now here, I'm using raise keyword. So whenever you use raise keywords, as I already gave you an explanation regarding that raise keyword. So now here I'm specifying try some condition. After that, whatever the expression you want to raise, we need to specify that exception by using raise keyword. So whenever that expression is raised, whenever you want to print some statement, you can print that statement. After that, here I'm using except block again. Don't be get confused by looking at the syntax. Don't worry about the syntax. Here, if you look at the example, you'll understand very clearly. See guys, for this example, I'm going a little bit faster. I'm also getting that. Don't worry. If you go through each and every example, each and every line, you'll understand everything very clearly. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now here, what I'm doing is, yeah, yes. If you look at this program here, what he is doing is, initially he's saying a equals to 10. After that, he's saying b equals to minus 2. And here he is keeping condition like if b less than 0. It means here he is saying whether b is a negative number. If it is a negative number, here I need to raise a value error. Yeah, I want to raise the specific error. So whenever some specific condition is satisfied, at the time if you want to raise any exception, you can specify that exception. Else, if it is not a negative number, simply I need to perform division between a and b. Yeah, simply I need to perform division between a and b. See, remember guys, it's a question I faced it in an interview. In one interview, I faced the same question. Okay. So in an interviewer also ask you questions like this only. They'll simply say write a program by using conditions by using exception handling. They'll give you some statement. At the time, you need to write a program for that. Okay. So coming to the next here, except. So here if there is no except, see, if there is error in this try block, then it needs to execute this block. That is in an except block. Here if it is, see here if the any value, see b value is less than 0, that means here we are raising value error. If it is raising value error means it needs to check whether this expression is value error exception or not. So whenever it raises a value error exception, here it will give this one as an output. Here it will give this one as an output. Okay. Don't divide by negative number, it will give you negative result. How many of you clear with this program? If anyone won't understood, let me know so that I'll explain you this program one more time. Yes? Is it perfect to everyone? Okay, good. I'll explain you this program one more time. See here what I'm doing is I'm taking two values in a try block. After that, I'm checking this condition. If this condition is satisfied, I'm raising value error. Though negative number is acceptable, though wantedly I'm raising value error. After that, if there is no value error, I want to give output like a by b. While performing a division operation between both the things, I need to return that thing in an output. Okay. So if it raises an error, that means if it raises a value error, so this will be contain value error. Means this try block contains an error, that is value error. Okay. If it contains any error, it will go and check that exception, whether that is a specific exception or not. So here in except block, I'm saying value error. If it is a value error, it will give you an output like don't divide by negative number. It will give negative result. Okay. This statement, it is a value error only. That's why we'll get this statement as an output. It's about exception handling, right? And here it is about printing some errors. It is the additional part. Try some code exception as a specific error. So here, if you want to print a specific exception, you can do this. You can try it, and it's a very easy stuff. So it's about exception handling. Simple. Whenever you want to avoid some statements from a program, at the time you need to use concept called exception handling. In this, the major things are try except block. So coming to the try block, if there is no error present in a code, it will execute the statements present in a try block. Whereas if there is any error for present, obviously it will execute the statements present in an except block. So we'll be having several kind of exceptions. He already specified that exceptions in a tabular form. Okay. So if you want to execute a specific exception, so if you want to check whether there is a specific exception or not, here we'll be having except that specific exception. So if you specify that thing, if it is that specific exception, it will give you an output belongs to that statement, like that block. Okay, it will execute the code present in a that exception block. Okay, and in this try except block, we can add two keywords additionally. Those are else keyword as well as finally keyword. So here, whenever there is no specific exception, then it will execute else block. If there is exception present, it won't execute the statement present in else block. That's about else block. After that, we'll be having finally block. So the purpose of finally block is mandatorily, if you want to execute any statement, mandatorily, if you want to execute any statement in the program, at the time we'll be having finally block. And if you want to raise any specific kind of like a exception, at the time by specifying some condition, we can use raise keyword. So by using raise keyword, we can raise any kind of exception, not only value error. Based on your requirement, you can raise any exception. That's about exception handling concept. If you're not familiar with it, and if you're not satisfied with it, though after looking at this, after practicing these programs, message me, I'll help you with that. And now itself, I'm forwarding this content in your WhatsApp groups. So here, having data science 5 p.m. batch, we are good. Copy pasting this link. After that, I'm pasting it in a. Yeah, Neeraj, you can copy paste this link in our group, like our IIIT WhatsApp group, so that it will be very convenient to us. Okay. Yeah, good. You can do it later. Nothing will happen. Okay. It's about the exception handling concept. After this exception handling concept, here what I'll do is, you will be having next concept like, see, next we'll see file handling concept. I'll introduce you to this file handling concept. So here, coming to this file handling concept, the basic thing is how to write in a text file, how to open a text file, like how to overwrite a text file, and how to add a content present in any text file, and how to create a text file by using Python program. So that is completely comes under file handling. As you're already familiar with this stuff, might be why means coming to this C as well as Python as well as Java. Everywhere file handling concept and the file handling keywords are same. I hope you're familiar with all the words or all the functions which we use in a file handling. Okay, good. What is file handling in Python? So here, coming to the file handling, see here, he specified a PDF even here. You can download this file, this PDF. This PDF contains entire file handling concept. Okay. So the general syntax of working with files, guys. So here, the general syntax will be, so in which variable you want to store this file, here you can specify that variable. After that, here you can use an open method. So open is a method. So here in our object oriented programming, function will be said as method. Don't worry about this notation. Okay. So here by using open method, here I'm opening a file. So whenever you want to open a file, here we need to specify a file name, guys. First, we need to specify file name. And which operation you want to perform on a file, we need to specify that access mode. Coming to this access mode, here we'll be having different modes, guys, like a read mode, a write mode, append mode, read plus mode, like a and write plus mode, append plus mode, read binary mode, write binary mode, append binary mode. Like that, we'll be having a lot of ways to open a file. So with a which specification, like a to perform which kind of operation you want to do on the file, you can open that file with the specific access mode. Okay, here is specified regarding a description regarding these things. File object is an indicates the creator file. He specified a lot of description here, but okay, good. So here file object. So file object is a variable. See, it is a variable which is used to store a file, as I already told you. Open is a method which is used to open a file. See, in this open, in this first we need to specify file name. Whatever the file you want to open, you need to specify that file name with an extension. After that, access mode will be having different kinds of access modes. That is read, write, append. So whatever the mode you want to open file, you can specify that access mode. So here we'll be having four major functions here on the file. If you want to perform any operations, we'll be having four major methods. First one is a read method. So after opening the file, if you want to read a content present in a file, we can use read method. After that, after opening the file in a writing mode, if you want to write in a file, we'll be having fwrite method. After that, as you're already familiar with the open method, coming to the close method, after performing all the operations on the file, if you want to close a file, at the time we need to use a close method. That's about a close method. And see here, common access modes of Python file handling. So what are the different access modes? So we'll be having four common modes. So here X, first access mode is an X, like whatever the access mode in first opening a file I specified, there we can specify all this stuff. Like if you specify X, indicates the creation of file. Means there is no file. We are okay. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, good. So here we'll be having common access mode. So in this common access modes here, see here what I'm doing is here I'm specifying X indicates the creation of file. Here X indicates the creation of file. And here R indicates the, if you want to open a file in a read mode, here we can specify R indicates that the file has to be read. Okay, W indicates that file, if you want to write a content in a file, we can use W. If the file already exists, then it just overwrite the file with the current content. Remember guys, whenever you open a file with the write method, and whenever you write some content, it will be overwritten. It will be overwritten. So previous content will be erased, and whatever the content newly you write, that will only stay in a file. That's about a write method. Whereas if you want to keep a previous text, same thing, like if you want to keep previous statements as it is lead, and if you want to add new text, at the time we need to open a file with an append mode. We need to open a file with an append mode. Okay, so here he created a sample file. So by looking at this theory, you might not understood that much clearly. What you need to do is you need to do this entire thing. You need to practice all this stuff. Remember, guys, try to practice this opening file and performing different operations on a file in a either Anaconda platform, or you can try with an IDLE. Why means here Google Collaborator is a virtual platform, guys. There we can't access a local computer files, right? So for that, we need to upload a file into that virtual platform. After that only we can access the content present in a file. That's what I'm suggesting. That's why I'm suggesting you to use either Anaconda or ideally platforms. Okay, good, perfect. So here I'm opening sample.txt file. So file will be created in the folder. Yeah. And here I'm opening file with a mode X, sample.txt. I'm creating sample.txt file. Whenever you want to create a file, you can specify X. So after this, after creating file in this way, so you can go and check in the same working directory. So wherever you run this command, you can check at that specific working directory. There, new file will be created with the name sample.txt. That is an empty file. Now, what I want to do is I want to open this file, say sample.txt this file. After opening this file, just wait. Okay, good. So here, whatever the file I created here, in an whenever I created an empty file here, after creating that empty file, here I'm writing that file. Okay, I'm writing that file. Sorry, I want to open that file in a write mode. After that, in this file, I want to write a content. Whenever you want to write some content in the file, here we'll be having f.write method. So f.write is a method which is used to write a content in a file. So whenever you want to write a content in a file, so here we'll be having a write method. So after that, after writing some content, we can close this file. So here, whenever you close the file, and if you look at the file, while opening the sample.txt file, if you look at the content, whatever the text you write here, that will be displayed on that file. Whatever the text you write here, that will be displayed on the file. That's about this writing a file, write file method, write method. After that, we'll be having, yeah, whenever, see, the next time what you'll do is open a file in a read mode and f.read. If you apply f.read method, it will show you the content in a notepad. If you want to see the content in notepad, simply you can run this program so that you can see the content in a notepad or in an output window. Okay, so now I want to open a file in an append mode. Now here I'm opening a file in an append mode. So whenever we open a file in an append mode, here it's a file which is created in an append mode. So here appending means attaching the additional content. Like see, if we create a file by using append method, there were no chance to erase the previous content. Here, new content will be added. Whatever the new content here you are taking, that will be added to your file. That is the purpose of this append method. Okay, so whenever you open a file with an append method, so you can add an extra content to it. After that, here I'm adding content like happy learning. So whenever you add a content happy learning, whatever the previous text present here, file handling in Python, that will stay as it is. With the end of that line, here it will be added. Like happy learning text will be added to that previous text. That's about the append method. And here we'll be having additional access modes also. And coming to this tell and seek methods. So coming to the tell method, if you want to know the present cursor position, means at which character's index your present cursor is present. To know that thing, here we'll be having tell method. After that, see here file name dot tell. If you use this method, it will give you the present cursor position guys. So here after reading the file, see if you observe if you apply tell method on this file, it will give you a index of last character guys. It means whenever you read the content, so here, so whenever you read the content, what it does is it will give you the last character index. So whenever you apply tell method, it will give you a last character index. Means by using this read method, you can read a content present in a file for only one time. After reading this content, again, if you apply print f.read method, it won't give any output. Why means here already we reach it to the end of the file. So by default, our cursor position will be presented 0th index. So if you want to print the content present in a file again, like if you want to modify the cursor position again, here we'll be having seek method. By using this seek method, we can fix the current like a cursor position in a program. We can fix a current cursor position. Now here what I do is I want to fix this cursor position at a 20th index. So here whenever you fix a cursor position and if you observe the tell, if you apply tell method, it will give you the current cursor position again. It will give you a current cursor position again. And if you write the content present in a file, see this file, see this seek method, what I'm saying is 5, 0. In the seek method, I'm saying 5, 0. Means I want to start with the 5th indexed character. Okay, whenever you say this thing 5, 0, it will give you content present from 5th character onwards. So here it is about more operation. So to perform this more operations, here we need to import OS model. To work with this OS model, here we'll be having import OS command. So please tell again about seek method. Okay. See here coming to seek method to fix the cursor position. See, whenever you read the content present in a file, by default, your file cursor position will be goes to the last character, and it will give you the index of that last character. But now, what I want to do is, I don't want to modify the cursor position. I want to keep cursor position at the starting index only. Or else I want to keep the cursor position at the specific index. To fix the cursor position at the specific location, here will be having seek method. In this seek method, wherever you want to keep a cursor, you can specify that index. Okay. Whereas coming to this read method, coming to this read method, coming to this read method, whenever you read the text, it will goes to the last. Whenever you want to take that cursor to any specific location, we can use seek method. And coming to tell method, to know the status of your cursor position, will be having tell method. That is only the thing. It's about a file handling, guys. Okay, see, coming to this, see here, whenever you want to rename any file, or if you want to remove any file from your local computer, here will be having OS module. See, OS stands for operating system module. By using this operating system module, here we can remove any specific text file. Not only text file, we can remove Python program also. By using this remove method, you can remove any file present in your laptop. But you should be familiar with it, like wherever you are writing this program, at that same location, this file should be present. Okay, in the same directory, this file should be present. Otherwise, this operation won't be possible. Or else here at the time, you need to specify complete file path. Okay, so after that, here we'll be having rename method in this OS model. The purpose of rename method is to rename any file with a different name. Here we'll be having rename method. And here we'll be having different modes of operations in a OS model. Those are mkdir. So stands for make directory function. If you want to create any folder or any new file kind of thing, here we'll be having make the directory function. After that, chdir is a function which is used to change the directory. Like if you are working on a desktop, if you want to move from desktop to documents, at the time we need to use chdir function. Get cwd. So it is a function stands for get current working directory. So here on which folder you are working, to know that status, here will be having get working directory. RMDR is nothing but removes the directory. So whatever the working directory you're working, if you want to remove that directory, we'll be having a remove directory. These are additional steps corresponding to this concept. Okay. Okay, guys. With this shorter session, I'm concluding for today. Sorry for the inconvenience, and tomorrow we'll continue for longer time. Okay. So I'm feeling a little bit weak. Yeah, that's why I want to conclude a little bit early. Don't worry. Okay. So yeah, in tomorrow's class onwards, so tomorrow also I'll explain you OOPS concept. Tomorrow, after explaining OOPS concept, if possible, I'll take into the numerical Python concept. And numerical Python concept onwards, everything is a very important topics. Everything is a very important topics, guys. Why means here? Why important means, see here, those are the things. With that thing only, we can work on data science. For the data science, those are the very essential things. Okay, thank you. With this, I'm concluding for today.